everyone, it's Tzayla, and welcome to Off Key and On Pitch, your backstage pass to the unfiltered world of music. Today I'm joined by David Pippin, a guitarist and the owner and lead instructor at Pippin Music Academy. Based out of Carrollton, Georgia, David specializes in live performance, sound production, and music lessons. David is an Atlanta Institute of Music and Media graduate and a 3-time Atlanta Blues Challenge winner for solo, duo, and band acts. David performs with his full band David Pippin Group and his acoustic duo alongside vocalist Ava Rose. He is also a mentor of mine and the person who taught me how to produce music, so I am sure he will have some great insights for all of you. So let's get into the conversation with David Pippin. Hi David, welcome to the show today.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good.
Doing good.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah, totally. When I started a podcast, I was like, yeah, I gotta have David Pippin on my podcast.
Well, thank you. All 5 people know who it is.
Yeah. So how about we start by talking a little bit about your journey in music so far?
Okay, sure. Where do you want me to start? The very beginning?
Yeah, sure. Like a quick recap of like how you started in music, why music, and then the steps that have led you here today to Pippin Music Academy in Carrollton.
Okay, so all that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
So I started off just loving music. My father was really into music. My grandfather was into music. Nobody played any instruments. My dad was into rock and roll and heavier rock and roll like Led Zeppelin all the way up into Metallica. And then my grandfather was more into blues and old school rock and roll like from the 50s. And I kind of had that love just by listening to their music, growing up and listening to their music and them sharing that with me. Loved everything from Elvis to B.B. King to Van Halen to, all into the 90s, listening to, the grunge rock stuff like, Nirvana and Alice in Chains. And, all of that kind of combined. And then I found through the guitar, listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan and then all the guitar heroes. But I didn't touch a guitar till I was 15 years old. And I wanted to be a pool shark. I wanted to be really good at playing pool. And there was a kid in the neighborhood, and he had a pool table, and we would go over after school and play pool. I didn't really even like the kid that much. I hope he's not hearing the podcast. I don't remember his name, but we used to call him Waldo because he looked like Where's Waldo.
There you go.
We weren't nice kids, but we'd go over to his house and we'd play pool before we'd have to go home for dinner. And one day we were going over there, and he was like, "Hey, I just got this new guitar pedal for my guitar and my amp, and I want you guys to come listen to it." And I was like, "Man, I've got to go home soon for dinner. Let's just go play pool. I don't care anything about you playing your guitar, And all the guys were like, "Come on, David, let's go watch him play the guitar." I was like, "No, I only have like an hour. Let's go play some pool." And they're like, "David, you're being mean. Let's go listen." I was like, "Okay, we'll go listen to him play guitar." So we went in and he plugged in his Lotus, which is like the Sears and Roebuck brand, like the Sears brand of guitar. Cheap. He probably paid $100 for it. And he had an old PVPA system in his room, and the speakers were huge, but they were like from the 70s. And then he got his Big Muff distortion pedal and plugged it in, and he hit a couple of power chords, and immediately I said, "Oh, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life." Like it was instant. It was that I didn't go play pool. All I could think about was playing guitar after that. It was like he played it, and I said, if this guy can do it, I know I can.
Yeah.
And so I went straight home and called my grandfather, who had a old Silvertone, which was also a Sears store brand guitar from back in the 60s, hanging on his wall. So I got him to give me that guitar, and we went and strung it up. And I took it. I went to, back then they used to have these things called bookstores where you could go in and buy books.
Yeah. They still have them.
They do have those?
They do, but
if you say so.
People only go there for the Starbucks there, though.
Oh, okay.
But they do exist.
But back then it was, what was it? What was the Barnes & Noble? That's
Yeah,
what it was.
that's
So
what I'm
I remember
talking about,
going
yeah.
in and getting a Barnes & Noble, like, teach yourself how to play guitar. And I remember going through that in a week or so and just being obsessed with it and playing, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and Ode to Joy. And then I asked my dad, I was like, I have to have guitar lessons. Like, I need more. And so he's like, well, you find the guitar teacher. So I just looked up in the yellow pages and found the first person that would, answer my phone call. And there was a guy named Rob Scavetto, and signed up with guitar lessons, and he was a great teacher. And I took lessons from him until I had to move up here. And yeah, so I moved up here, I say Georgia. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. So all that took place in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah. So my mother lived up here. So I moved up here, and I don't even remember what year it was, but I was 14 or 15 years old, and went to high school at Noonan High School. Went to Noonan High School. My kids go to Carrollton, so my brain directly goes to that. So I, went to high school, was in a band in high school, was in the jazz band. I was also in the AP music theory class, that there was like 4 or 5 of us in the class, like the teacher.
I did not know they offered music theory classes.
They don't.
Anymore.
They didn't. So they created a class just for us.
No way.
Yes, they literally created a class for like 4 or 5 of us, and that class happened. We had to get there early, so it was before school.
Yeah.
So we still got credited. I mean, it was still a credited class, but it was an AP music theory class that we just wanted.
That's awesome.
And we got together and said, hey, and she said, I'll teach it. And then graduated high school. Came to West Georgia here in Carrollton, and went for guitar for a year here, and then realized that I needed more. I just kept wanting more. I just needed more information. And the guy that was the teacher here, he was more of a classical guy, and I don't even think that the guitar was his main instrument, right? So I was like, I need something a little bit more intense. So I went to Atlanta Institute of Music and graduated from there. Before I went there, when I was going to West Georgia here, there was a singer and guitar player here in Carrollton his name was Zach Brown, and he lived 2 blocks from here, this way towards the McDonald's over there off of Cunningham. And so he picked me up. I was 19, and I played with him for about 6 months, and that's when I quit going to West Georgia. Played for him for 6 months and realized I needed to go back to school, and then that's when I went to Atlanta Institute of Music. I know I'm jumping around. Let's see. And then I played with him for a while, quit playing with him, went to Atlanta Institute of Music, and when I graduated, I went to Mississippi and played with a band for a little while. Didn't like that. Came back here. I started a band called Adamson Square, and with a guy named Brian Mack, who I still see all the time.
Brian
you know Brian Mack?
I know him, yeah.
Yes. And we put out an album called Adamson Square After Dark. Yeah, I think it's called After Dark.
Is that named after Adamson Square in Carrollton?
The band is, yes.
Yeah,
because that's where our studio was. Our studio was on Adamson Square.
I did not know they had studios there.
Yeah, so,
not anymore.
It had our studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Adamson Square, then he quit the band, and then I got really upset because we had written all this stuff and done all this work.
Yeah.
So I realized I was going to learn how to learn how to sing. So I spent a year or plus learning how to sing and writing stuff for my voice, and which is very limited range. So I did that, and then I toured and wrote blues and rock and roll stuff for all of my 20s into my 30s, and then toured, played big blues festivals. I started a music festival called Little Big Jam that I had going for like 16 years until just recently I decided to stop. Just because the music school here, Pippin Music Academy, is
it's growing.
It's grown up. So I have to spend more time here, concentrating on this, and then So where were we? I'm trying to condense all this stuff into a short amount of time, so as to not drag on and be too boring. Let's see. So I was in my early 30s, just got married, had a son and a daughter, and it was time to settle down. So opened this place up, and Pippin Music Academy, and I've been here for about 10 years. and been teaching and writing music. Still have a band. I still have a Latin jazz band called Martini Caliente. My rock and roll and blues group. We do original music and cover stuff. We just played a sold out show. Our last two shows were sold out last Friday, and then 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks before prior to that. Then I also play with Ava Rose, and we do a duo, and we play a lot of duo shows. I play a lot with her, probably more with her than with the other two. And we just put out an album, and I think it's called Blackwater Blues, and it should be it should be getting some radio play. There's an straight up an acoustic version. They're both acoustic albums. There's a live version and then a studio version.
Okay, I'll have to go listen to that.
Yeah.
What would you say has like been the most challenging part of your journey in music so far, and like how did you overcome that?
I think that one thing that musicians, when they get into this, don't realize is that we have to work harder than everybody else, right? You get into this because you want to avoid responsibility and you want to have fun, and you want to do this for a living. And what you don't realize is that you have to hustle. It's a hustle. You can't be lazy. You have to work harder than everybody else if you want to, make a living at this. And you have to do everything. You can't just do one thing.
Yeah.
Some people are lucky and they can, right? I don't want to discourage anybody from doing that. But if you are a blue collar, musician like myself, I do production work. I teach music. I've taught 15 to 20 students today. I got started early, in the morning. I've been recording. I do a lot of recording stuff. I have I play I play shows. Yeah, so I'm hardly ever home. I have rehearsals, so I keep pretty busy. So the one thing that I would say is that as long as you're working hard and you're hustling, I think that's the big thing that you have to overcome the desire to be lazy.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. And talent only takes you so far.
Right. Hard work is hard. There's no replacement for hard work.
No, there's not. I completely agree. So how do you, as a teacher and mentor, how do you approach mentorship with students at Pippin Academy? And are there common struggles that you see in musicians? And if so, like, how do you help your students overcome those?
One of the big things is just not working hard enough. Like I said, yeah. That's really the thing that I see. Even people that are really talented, I'm not really talented. I was not given all the tools that I needed, other than just I guess the ability to work hard and had enough intelligence to figure it out. It was a lot of trial and error. But I see kids that are really talented, and sometimes the talent kind of gets in the way, like they're so talented, they think they can just pick it up and do it. And it's like, yeah, but you also have to work really hard. And I think that's one thing that I wish that I could see more, is that they would practice more and work a little harder. And I know it's terrible to say, it's kind of hateful, not be so lazy, go out there and work. But at the same time, for people who are just wanting to play music, that's okay too. It's okay to, strum some chords and just have fun playing music. It doesn't have to be your job. You can still do it all the time, and it can still be a part of you, and it not be a job. It might even be more fun that way.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, like, what tips or advice do you have for someone who's trying to motivate themselves, but it's not, like, fully there yet? Like, they're still kind of lazy, but like, I want to try, but, like...
I would give yourself a time. Like, so you start work at 9 a.m. and you stop at 5 p.m. And I'm going to do something within those hours. And, yeah, take a lunch break for an hour, but you're still going to work within those hours. Whatever it is, whether it's you're practicing your instrument, whether it's marketing, whether it's going out and trying to get gigs, you will be doing something for 8 hours at least. You shouldn't have to work yourself to death, but I think that 8 hours, that'll get you started anyway. 5 days a week, get up, have it set, get your coffee, practice. I would do what I would do. I used to get up and I would sit there with my coffee, and the first few hours was practice time. And then it's, okay, let's work on writing songs, or let's go out and get it and have it like maybe on Monday you do you go out and you try to get gigs. Tuesday, you write songs. You should be trying to write songs every day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, always be writing. You know, that's what they say to any writer. Any artist should be not only honing their musicianship, but they should also be writing music constantly. Yeah.
Just continue
and work. You gotta work.
Like compounds eventually.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I agree. It's like if you take a step every day in 5,280 days, you'll have walked a mile, but if you never took that first step, you'd still be in the same place.
Right.
It takes 5,280 steps, but you'll get
you're there. Yeah.
But you'll be there.
I remember thinking that, and a good example of that is, I remember thinking when I first started playing, people were like, "Hey, you got to get these people's phone numbers."
Yeah.
And that's how you build up your fan base. I'm like, what? Like, there's only 3 people here to see me tonight, you know? Like, well, there's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there you go. That's one step closer to whatever number you thought was possible.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so you get to know those people. You go out and you talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
You try to remember names. You try to be social. You try not to skip over anybody. You try to include the people that are coming out and supporting you. You try to include them in what you're doing, right? You're sharing your music, so share it with them, not just by going and playing music with them or playing music for them, but go and how did you like it, you know, and see
Engage.
what their experience.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
yes,
really truly connect.
That's important.
I remember one time you told me, you said never call them your fans, you call them your friends.
That's right.
Because if you call them your friends, you're going to treat them like friends, and that's really what you want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I when people say fans, it's almost cringy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I like okay, so that's person that can't be your friend. That person that has supported you and listens to you and comes to your shows, like that's not your friend. That's your fan.
Yeah.
You know, no, it should definitely be your friend.
Yeah.
That's what friends do. They support each other.
I agree. And in terms of, like you said, getting everyone's number, right now it's like getting everyone's email.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
it was email too back in the day. I just wasn't very good at emails.
Yeah, but I
would cold call people before shows.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I would sit down and I would have a list and I'd put all those numbers in my, you know, probably a flip phone or no, I remember having an actual, like, it was something like this.
Yeah.
And I would have numbers written on it, and the whole thing would be full of numbers. And I would just sit there, and I would just go down the list and go, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Hey, we're playing at Sutton's on Friday from 7 to 10, man. What's going on? You know?"
Show up.
And it would take 2 hours calling everybody, and then spend a few minutes talking to them. You know, and that helps out.
Oh yeah, totally. Like I've gotten my hands on some people's emails, and when a cold emailing is not easy, but once you do it, it is very beneficial. Like I've had meetings with people like Mike Warner and Chris Carmichael who worked on Taylor Swift's like album. Like you get to meet these people just by getting an email and emailing them, cold calling, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there.
And I say cold calling. I mean, I know that's cold calling when you call somebody without any reference. But I literally would call people that I haven't talked to or you know, that I was like, I'm just going to call this person and with just, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Come out to a show.
Yeah.
But
build a relationship, build a connection.
Yes. Absolutely.
Can you share like any stories of students that you've had that have found success in the music industry?
Well, I mean, it just really depends on how you define success. You know, I don't know. I know that there's some people out there, you know, I can tell you a funny story about this person emailing me. And are you familiar with Alan Jackson? Do you know who Alan Jackson is?
It sounds extremely familiar.
He is a big country music star, right? Back in the 80s and 90s, he was a massive success, and he lived in Noonan. And somebody texted me, I would say the early 2000s, and said, "Hey, David, you know, I heard that you taught Alan Jackson how to play guitar, and I was, you know, I read it on his website, and I was curious, you know, are you still teaching guitar in Noonan?" And I was like, "Buddy, I was a little kid when Alan Jackson was a star. I didn't even know what a guitar was." And he's like, "No, Alan Jackson on his website said that you taught him how to play guitar." He said, he mentions my name. He was like, "Yeah, he mentions David Pippin taught him at Noonan Music. I was like, I taught at Noonan Music. My name is David Pippin. I don't think anybody else named David Pippin was there." I was like, so I was like, "You're going to have to send me that link." right? So he sends me the link, and sure enough, it's Alan Jackson's website. And I'm reading it, and I come to realize, wait a minute. This is a kid named Alan Jackson who was on The Voice or the American Idol, one of those shows. And the Alan Jackson thought it was cute or whatever that this kid named Alan Jackson from Noonan, because he's Alan Jackson from Noonan. So he was promoting his bio on his page, and it confused some people. And so I did teach Alan Jackson how to play guitar, but not the Alan Jackson.
That must have been so trippy. Like someone's like, you taught me how to play guitar.
He was so upset.
No.
The guy was so upset. He was like, it's on his website. You taught him. And I was like, buddy, I didn't. Like, I would totally acknowledge the fact that I taught Alan Jackson, at 4 years old how to play guitar, but that's just not the case.
Yeah.
But as far as guys, there's plenty of people. I mean, there's people in this building right now. That Brian Cruz just finished his album. He's out touring. He's playing all over the Southeast right now. He's here teaching. He's playing big shows. Also, John Paul Barry. I taught both of these guys from when they were little kids, and now they're in their 20s and 30s. And they're out making albums and playing music, and this is all they do for a living. So you can do it. They are doing it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's plenty of success stories in this building of people that this is all they do. They've made music their living. I mean, you don't have to be a big star to make a living at this. And being a big star, I don't know if that's even the road you would want to go down, because if you're making a record company a bunch of money, they're going to work you to death.
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, work for yourself. That would be my advice.
Independence all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what advice do you have for, music students right now, maybe they're high school, middle school, whatever, but they want to go into the music industry, but they're just, right now, just stuck in their music lessons. They don't know how to start actively walking in the music industry. What advice do you have for them trying to figure that out?
I think the first thing that you have to do is content, and I think we had talked about that.
Yeah.
You have to have something to sell them. Mm-hmm. Right? If you just go in and say, I want to be a star, or I want to work, well, I've got other people that can come in here and do that too. What separates you from everybody else?
Unique factor.
You have to have that. You have to have content. You have to have, when I say content, you have to have a product. Mm-hmm. I have a style, right? This is what I do. I play guitar, and I sing, and I play the flute, Mm-hmm. It's just, you have to think about your image. You have to think about what am I about, and then you have to put that out there.
Yeah, like your brand.
Yes.
Your why, your mission statement.
Right. So, and I've rebranded myself several times. Right. So, in the beginning of my career, I was this bluesy rock and roll guy. I did just this young kid playing blues. Well, there's one on every corner in every town. And I did that for a while, and then I went into the hard rock thing, and I wrote hard rock music. That's the Adamson Square stuff that we wrote back in 2004, Brian Mack and I, and that's pretty heavy music. And then right after that, I did the Mile Train stuff, where I wrote and I played a lot of slide guitar. So I kind of mixed heavy rock and roll with really heavy blues, like the Delta stuff, and played a lot of slide with tuned down guitars, and grew my hair out,
Yeah, your ponytail phase.
Yeah, it wasn't even a ponytail. It was just long, full hair down to here. The older you get, you don't have the vivacious hair anymore. Can't keep that. But we would. So I did that, and I did that for a long time. We toured, and we played a lot of big events, a lot of blues festivals, and we crossed genres. We played blues, but we also played rock and roll. So we were able to, get into the rock clubs and things like that. And then and then in my mid 30s, I reinvented myself as a flamenco guitar player and played Spanish guitar, and that was what I did. Mm-hmm. I just played Spanish guitar for years.
Very good at it.
Thank you. Thank you. And did that, and I still do that. Now I have all these different groups that I play with. I have my Latin jazz band that plays Martini Caliente, and we play the third Thursday of every month at Samba Loca on the Square. And then I have the David Pippin group, which is my blues rock. We play a lot of original blues and rock and roll, and then we play stuff like Led Zeppelin and Rush and the Allman Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a duo with Ava Rose, and we play original music and we play blues. We just released a blues album called Blackwater Blues, and I think I already mentioned that. So there's try to do it all.
So basically, don't box yourself in, but also know who you are and be strong in that, and don't be afraid to grow beyond it.
I think that the whole "don't box yourself in" thing, you want to. I wanted to do different things, so I just did it.
Yeah.
So not boxing myself in, yes, but I just had the passion to want to do these other things, and I just did it, and I didn't care. I think the thing is don't be afraid to try different things. You know, I mean, if you're AC/DC and you're making millions of dollars a year, hundreds of millions of dollars, and you have a style, I'd be really scared to separate myself from that style, right?
Yeah.
That's what's making the money. I would go out there and try something else under another name, but AC/DC is AC/DC. But the one thing that we have when we are not huge stars is that we can go out and try other things, and people are like, oh, he's just trying something new. Oh, this is interesting. But you do have people that have redefined themselves. I mean, Taylor Swift is one of them. She was a country star, right?
Her eras.
And then she became a pop star. I don't know what she is now. I haven't kept up, but she's rich. I know that.
She's rich.
That's what she is. She's rich. Yeah. But yeah, just hard work.
Hard work.
Hard work will get you something.
Yes, I agree with that. There's this, hang on, let me get a calculator out. I saw this somewhere, and it has stuck with me ever since. If you take 1.00 and where's the raise button? You raise it to the power of 365. Read that. What does it say?
It says 1.
1. So 1.00 raised to 3.65 equals 1.
Okay.
Now 1.01 raised to the power of 365. Remember, I started with 1.00. This is 1.01. What does that say?
Right, 37, and then it's going to grow exponentially after that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Right.
even if you do one tiny 0.01 thing, it'll start growing exponentially later on down the road. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Like a snowball falling down a mountain gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it hits somebody and they fall over. But yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You got it. That's the formula.
That's the formula.
Just break out your calculator.
Well, I like math. Anyways, so I credit so much of where I am today to you. Like, you were such a pivotal...
wow.
Yeah, like, I never would have released music if I hadn't come here. Like, I dabbled in production, but I wasn't going anywhere.
But I think that you have yourself to blame for that, because you worked hard and you did all that stuff. Like, I can sit here and tell anybody how to do that. That's easy. But for somebody to go out and actually do it, that's something. So
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Very proud. I'm proud of everything that you've done.
Thank you
did a
so
great
much.
job, yeah.
That means a lot. But like I was saying, I credit so much of where I am now, like, to what you taught me, and like I'm able to pursue these dreams of mine because of the knowledge and wisdom you've given me throughout I've been 3 years.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I think I was here for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's a large number. But I'm curious, like, what's your dream? Like, the dream that you're heading towards, the goals you have, your end thing.
Well, right now I have a wife and 2 kids, and we
Yeah.
live on the lake. I just bought a boat a brand new boat
Did
last.
you get a truck to pull it?
What's that?
Did you get a truck to pull it?
No, I had somebody pull it because I don't have a truck.
Oh, that's a song reference.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's but yeah. So we live on the lake. I have a boat. We got a ski boat and another boat, and building this place up. Going out writing music. Honestly, like, if somebody came in here and said, "I'll give you $1 million to go on the road for a year," I would say no. If it was $2 million to go on the road, I would say no. My wife would kick me out of the house, but I'm happy where I'm at. So I don't really.
And that's the
I make
dream.
the music that I want to make.
Yeah.
Right. I work as much as I want to work. I just put out an album. We've the year before last we won the Atlanta Blues Challenge. Got to go to Memphis and compete against the world.
For your second time, right? That was your second time?
That was my third time. Sorry,
They're not invited
third time.
back. They've won too many times. That's a flex.
So I've got to do all these great things. I've played with, big stars. Played with Zach Brown. I've played with, oh gosh, no, Mariah Carey's keyboard player, and Michelle Malone. Is it Michelle Malone's bass player? And I've got to do all kinds of fun stuff. Write a bunch of albums. Write a bunch of music. As far as my dreams now, I mean, I'm kind of doing it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I don't have to be out on the road, 24/7, killing myself.
Yeah. Was it really that bad? Just life
I
on
tell
the
you what,
road?
it was a lot of fun in your 20s. If you're going to do it in your 20s.
Yeah.
By my 30s, I was done. I was good up till about 32. 32, I started feeling it.
How many years were you on the road?
All of my 20s into my 30s, so like 12 years plus. So yeah, it was a lot. Just constantly playing, constantly being on the road. Going. There's plenty of people you can ask. They ask people who are married, hey, what's it like? What's it like having a family? Like we've just been on the road all our lives. So the grass is always greener on the other side.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But I got to do both. I realized that when I was 32, 33, it was okay, it's time to try this new thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's have a family and settle down and see what that's like.
Yeah, and now you're giving back, like, to the next generation. Like, you're teaching all the kids here, and you taught me, and I'm thankful. It's really great. Like,
Well, excellent. Well, I'm glad it's working, or something good is coming from
yeah.
it. So, yeah. And I get to see a lot like you and Brian and JP and Ben Williams. I know he just came in and sat in with our show Friday night and just killed. It sounded great.
Yeah.
So it's just like seeing all these guys that I they were this tall, and now they're grown ups and have to pay their taxes. So.
Oh, taxes. I'm not looking forward to tax season, but that's a different subject.
Oh yeah, that's another subject. Yes.
That's another subject entirely.
Yeah.
Well, how can people get in touch with you? Like, find your music, find your other social platforms?
So most of my music. So I had. I'm going to try to go through the catalog. Mile Train was the band that I toured with for the longest when we were on the road. We have some stuff on Spotify. I think there's a few songs that have over 100,000 plays. I think we were one of the first artists on Spotify. That's how long ago that we had put stuff out. And so the Mile Train, but even before that, Adamson Square, which was the heavy rock stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was anything before that. There was, but I don't think it's on any platform or on YouTube or iTunes or any of that stuff. And then under David Pippin, that's my flamenco stuff. And then you've got the David Pippin group, and now you've got Ava Rose and David Pippin, or David Pippin and Ava Rose, whichever she put it out, however she put it out there. And then this is Pippin Music Academy, and it's we're on Maple Street in Carrollton, Georgia. It's 961 Maple Street. We have I think we're at like 20 teachers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have 20 teachers here.
You must have upped that number. I think it was 8 last time.
Yeah, so we have 20 teachers. We have about 200 students come through here a week. We've got everything from vocal lessons, piano lessons. I mean, you can hear the kids moving around and
the bass that's been happening in the other room the entire time.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's kids running around. Drum lessons are over there.
Screaming.
Yeah, there's also a dance school that we can hear.
Oh, Tara Twirls
as well. Yeah. So yeah, we're staying busy.
Staying busy.
Yeah, I think there's probably still people. Yeah, there's still people taking lessons right now.
Most likely. Oh, and you can also, we collabed on a song together. It's called Rich Men's Bluff. You can listen to it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Well, cool. Anything else?
I think that's it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out
Thanks
of your
for having
busy
me.
day. Of course, yeah. Oh, it was
Awesome.
a really good joy.
Yeah,
thank
proud
you so
of
much.
everything that you've done.
Oh, thank you.
I definitely love seeing your progress from when you first started writing songs until now. You really came into your own. It's awesome.
I think I got over 100,000 streams last year, actually.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Wow, what a great episode. A humongous thank you to David Pippin for sharing his journey, his insights, and some hard truths about what it takes to make it in the music industry, from the importance of hard work and consistency to the value of building real relationships. There was so much wisdom packed into this conversation, so thank you so much. But now for those of you listening, there are a few things that I want you to think about. First of all, what's one small step, your 1.01, that you can take today to move closer to your dreams? Are you putting in the work, or are you waiting for the right time? And most importantly, are you treating those who support you like friends or just like fans? If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow music nerds. And don't forget to follow David and check out his music, including our collab, Rich Man's Bluff. You can find it on all major streaming platforms. And if something resonated with you today, feel free to share it on social media and tag me. I would love to hear your thoughts. Or if you have any questions, favorite moments, or if there's something we mentioned here today you'd love for me to do a deeper dive on, feel free to DM me at tzayla.official. Thank you for being here, and remember, the work you put in today will shape your tomorrow. So keep creating, keep showing up, and most importantly, keep dreaming big. I'll see you next time.